Hello my dear students, welcome to the board. It's so good to see you. How was the Math 3 virtual classroom? You learned a lot about basic measurements. Good. Now in this sub lesson, we're going to talk about length. When I say length, what is length? Now length is the measuring of 2 points, point A to point B, and that's where length comes in. Now not necessarily has to be a straight line, it could be have any shape to it, and you're finding the length, tracing along to that line, that from one point to another point. Alright, now in order to able to accomplish, to measure those length, you need some tools. There are so many different tools. Mr. Mac got a few tools that I can show you, something very common that you use every day, which is what? A straight edge, alright? Okay, or called ruler. Now usually it comes in inches and centimeters. When we talk about inches and centimeters, let's understand what is inches and what is centimeters. Now inches under the English system, centimeters under the metric system. So there are two types of system. One is the metric system, another one is the English system. Now we in Malaysia, anybody with the British system, or I would say pretty much majority of the countries around the world uses the metric system. Now there's only two countries that uses the English system, which is United States of America and Burma, or which is also called Myanmar. Okay, these are the only two countries that uses English system, and rest of the world uses the metric system. Now when I say English system, it's like inches, feet when come to length, when come to mass will be pounds, ounce, when come to volume will be gallons, things like that. Okay, now when we talk about metric system, and that's where it comes like in centimeters, meters, kilometers, millimeters. When line come to length, when come to mass, we talk about kilograms, grams, milligrams. Now when come to volume, we're talking about liters, milliliters, those kind of things. All right, so keep in mind, so there are two types of system: metric system and the English system, and we're going to be using what? Metric system. So pretty much in this measurement lesson, basic measurement, everything that we're going to learn is going to be in metric system. But Mr. Max is going to introduce a little bit of English system. I just want you to understand here and there. I'll tell you a few measurements so that you will understand. All right? Okay, good. So there's a straight edge, or you also can call ruler, a basic one, which usually comes 1 foot, 12 inches. All right, so that's the standard size. Okay, so now, okay, there's another one, another straight edge, a long one. All right, when you have a bigger line, a longer line, you want to measure, you get a longer straight edge. Okay, now another one is the measuring tape, something that you see when your mom is going to put a curtain. She wants to measure how long of curtain she wants to put up. Okay, it's better to have something like this, or even dad's doing some construction around the house, so he wants to do some repair, or he wants to put some pipes out, so he takes out his measuring tape, he measures, or even you want to put some wires around the house, he finds out how long wires he needs, or even to put a carpet, he wants to find out what's the length of the carpet he will need it, so that he can go to the store and ask for the certain length that he needs. Can you imagine that without measuring, without knowing the measurement or the length of the carpets to your living room? And you just go and you say, I want this. They ask you, did you measure? No, I'm just going to buy it. See that? You can't do that. Then you buy something, you buy too much, or something you buy too little. See that? So you got to have the exact measurement. That's why measuring tapes are very important. So you got to have some kind of tool to tell how long it is, how wide it is that you need it to put a carpet. Okay? And another measuring tape that Mr. Mac have here is also measuring tape, but this is for the cloth. Mr. Mac made an awesome, nice, very nice suit. Mr. Mac went to a tailor and made myself a very nice suit. Look at this. Now, in order for the tailor to make this custom-made suit, he has to measure, Mr. Mac. He got to find out my length of how long my sleeve is going to be, how long I want my the suit to be, and also the pants. You need to know how height I am. So what's the length from my waist to the ground? So those kind of things. So that's why they're using this measuring tape, which is for the cloth. Tailors use it, a tailor's measuring tape. So it's very important for the tailor, because he needs to know if he wants to custom make. If Mr. Mac's skinny, so he knows how skinny Mr. Mac, otherwise also he needs to know what's my Mr. Mac's sizes. See that? So it's very important. to know the measurement before he can start sewing, start tailoring the suit for Mr. Mac. Alright, so these are the few tools that Mr. Mac have here to show it to you. Okay, so now let's say for example, we want to measure a length of a 2 points. So point A, let's say this is point A, okay, and then this is point B. So in order for Mr. Mac to measure from A to B, what would be the perfect tools to use? One would be this long straight edge, okay? Now a ruler, of course you don't use the small one because now see that you have to repeat it. If it's something like this, it would be a lot easier. I can start right away and then say, let's say from 0, always position it to 0 and find where it stops. It stops in 55 centimeters, alright? So from A to B, right here, it's 55 centimeters. See that? So it's wise. If I write, let's say for example, if I have a point, let's say M to N, and I want to measure between this distance, well, rather than using a big one, it would be a lot easier if I use a smaller straight edge. See that? So now I can position it. I can take the smaller straight edge, always start from 0 and then see where it stops. Stops like 19. So it stops like 19 centimeters, alright? Okay, so that means the length from M to N is 19 centimeters. So you can see the difference. This is shorter and this one's longer. The longer, the bigger the number is going to be. The shorter, the smaller the number is going to be. Okay, see that? How you can use your ruler to measure a straight line. Well, what happens if I have a shape like this? And I want you to find the distance or the length from point, let's say X to point Y. Can I do this? No, it won't give me a proper measurement, am I right? Proper length or even the long one. See that? This is meant for straight edge. So that's why you use it to be creative. You take a string. Mr. Mac will take a string and then I will just trace it along that shape. Okay, so let's do that. So let's take the very end of it and then we're going to start from your X. And then Mr. Mac's just going to trace it. See that? Okay, I'm just going to trace it around that line. Okay, around that line. Okay. So I'm just going to trace it around the line. And then we're going to measure it with a straight edge. Okay, or with the ruler. Okay, ends right there. All right. So this is the length. See that? So it's going to be. So in other words, I can mark it. Let's say this is X. So I'm going to start right there, and then it's going to stop right here. Okay, so it's X, Y, and that is the distance from the length from X to Y. After I traced it, came to this. So then now I take the straight edge, then I can measure it. So I position at the 0, and then I put right there. It came to 68 centimeters. So the length from X to Y is 68 centimeters. Okay. So I'm just going to put a straight line. So it came to 68 centimeters, which this is also 68 centimeters. I don't even have to translate into this form. I can just take this string right here and then just position it from starting from 0. And then of course I know now 68 because Mr. Mac already took it off the point where it is. So I'm just going to position it. Let's say pretend like it was the 68 that I know this is the length. So I just hold it right there. Okay, there you go. So the length is 68. You can straight away translate right into a straight edge rather than drawing it to the board. Okay, so you can do it this way too. Alright, see that? How you can. So if, in other words, I can give you any shape. Okay, so even I can give you a fish shape and ask you to measure the length from, let's say R to S. So from point R all the way to S. Again, we take the string and what do? We trace it around it and then we use the straight edge to find the length. See that? So Mr. Mac then just go start tracing around it and then I got it. Let's say I got this the length. Alright? And then I take the straight edge and then I measure it. Now I know what's the length from R all the way to the S. Okay? Good. Well, that's what measuring is about. Okay, so it's very straightforward, it's very easy, something that you've been doing a lot, am I right? Especially when you have to build something, you can't just simply put things together, you just can't simply just cut them and put them together. You have to measure them, you got to find the length, make sure everything fits in. Otherwise, can you imagine that if you don't do a proper measurement, or there is no such thing as measurement, even the doorway will going to be crooked, and then when you try to put the door won't work, everything won't be fit right. Even Mr. Mac's shirt won't be fit right. Would be what? Mr. Mac will be either small, like my shirt will be like so tight, I was like, I feel like, choking, see that? So length, the measurements, very important, okay? So you gotta have a proper tools for that too. You can't just simply use any tool just to measure anything you want. Like for example, when you want to measure something very long, let's say when your dad and you and your mom and your sister and brother all traveling from point A to, let's say, from here to Kedah or Perak or something like that, okay? Very far away. Are you going to use a straight edge to measure it? There's no way. There's a meter, there's a speedometer in your car that tells you the distance, how far you travel. So that way it measures it for you. Because as the wheel spins and the speedometer also turns, the nuts, and then the knobs also turns and keep track the distance that you travel. See that? Okay, so there's a lot of tools. There's tools that meant for each thing. All right? Okay, good. All right. Now let's talk about units. Now I know I kind of showed you in centimeters. Okay, so in this sub lesson for length, we only going to talk about which one? The metrics. Okay, so metrics will be, what are the units? Centimeter. We start with the very smallest. Okay, millimeters. So we're going to start with millimeters to centimeters to meters and then kilometers. Okay, so what's the difference between millimeters, centimeters, meters and kilometers? Millimeters are small. Let's say for example, if I would have an ant, if I have an insect ant, okay, it's so small. Now it's such a small, I want to use millimeters. Millimeters of fine measurements, alright? So for that, okay? Now if I want to measure a pencil, okay? If I want to measure a pencil, okay? Then I want to use centimeters, okay? See that? So again, for something really small, let's say the insect is, let's say, let's use what you call a cockroach, okay? So if I want to measure the length of the cockroach, I want to use millimeters. If I want to measure a pencil or pen, or like for example even the string right there, I want to use centimeters. For meters, let's say mom wants to put a curtain to the window. So what measurement did she want to use? She wanted to use meters, alright, because the curtain is long. Alright, then it's good for her to use the meters. Alright, now if you want to measure the distance from here to your school, from your house to your school, which one would you use? Kilometers. See that? Can you see the difference? Millimeters, something really small. Centimeters, something big, like say for example you want to measure your height, will be centimeters, thing like that, okay? Or you can even use meter as well too, but centimeter will be more commonly used for your height, okay? Now in meters, something is long but not too long, like for example, when I say too long, means like for example from your house to school, you don't use meters, you rather use kilometers, because kilometers is long. Alright, have you seen when you're driving it says 10 kilometers to your destination, alright? Okay, 10 kilometers to your school, or 15 kilometers. See that? That tells you the distance. Next time, when you're driving with your mom and dad, always watch when it starts saying 10 kilometers, alright? Or whatever kilometer it says. From that point, see how long it takes to get there. See that? And that's the distance that you traveled, alright? Okay, good. Well, let's Mr. Mac erase the board and we talk about the relationship between millimeters and centimeters, centimeters and meters, meters and kilometers. Alright? Okay, I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now let's talk about the relationship between millimeters, centimeters, meters and kilometers. Okay, let's take this straight edge. Now this straight edge, the length is 1 meter. Okay, so that means this is the length of 1 meter. Alright, now as you look at this 1 meter, it's been broken up into 100 parts. This 100 parts that's been scaled in this 1 meter, it's represent 1 centimeters each. So in other words, let Mr. Mac bring closer, okay? So you can see right here, okay, it shows 1 centimeters, 2 centimeters, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it keeps going. See that? It keeps going. And then it keeps going now. Right now we are in 40 centimeters. Okay, and then it keeps going, and you're 50 centimeters. If you keep going, that means we are halfway to the meter. Okay, we keep going 60 centimeters, and keep going, let's see, 70 centimeters, and we keep going, and we came to 80 centimeters, and we keep going, we came to 90 centimeters, and we keep going, and we came to the end, which is 100 centimeters. So what that tells you? 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters, alright? So, well, you said, well, Mr. Mac, what about millimeters? Well, I want to just show you from the straight edge first, okay? So that tells us that 1 meter, okay, let's say this is the 1 meter, okay? So let Mr. Mac do it right, okay? Let's put this line right there. Okay, we know this is 1, so this is 1 meter, okay? So as you can see, this from point A to point B, it's 1 meter. Okay, now this 1 meter has been broken up to how many parts? How many scaled to how many section? 100 section. Okay, so in other words, if I had to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 100. Okay, this is something I play with my niece when we try to count really quick. Okay, so I'm trying to do that with you right now. Okay, so we scaled it to 100 parts. Okay, 100. That means each section, all right, that's represent what? 1 centimeters. So that means 100 section, 100 would makes what? 100 centimeters. Okay, so that means the length is another measurement. If I had to measure this in a form of centimeter, it will be 100 centimeter. Now this is also can be written as 1 meter, as a M. Okay, 100, we put 100 centimeters. So they both are same, 100 centimeters or 1 meters. See that? That's point A to B. It's just the unit that we're using is different. If I told you from point A to B, it's 100 centimeters, and then later I came to see you, I told you the point A to B is 1 meter. Then you say, wait a minute, Mr. Mac earlier says 1, now he says 100. But you gotta listen to the unit that I use. I said 1 meter and 100 centimeters. They both are same. See that? That's very important when you're dealing with length or measurements. You always put the unit. If you don't put the unit, the answer is wrong. If you just put 100, it's wrong. It could be what? 100 meters, it could be 100 centimeters, it could be 100 millimeters, it could be 100 kilometers. See that? So you got to put the units. All right, very much keep in mind. All right, especially if you have to do the workings and you have to show the working at the end, you have to show equals to how many of that centimeters or meters. All right. So that tells you what? 1 meter equals to 100 centimeters when it comes to the unit wise, alright? Now, if I were to take this 1 centimeter, okay, let's look closer, alright? Okay, now, this is the 1 centimeter right there. See how small it is, this 1 centimeter? Okay, if Mr. Mac to break that 1 centimeters into 10 parts, okay, I'm just going to magnify, alright? I'm just going to magnify this 1 centimeter, alright? We're going to use a magnifying glass, and then it's going to show like this, and this is 1 centimeter, alright? So it's a 0 to 1 centimeters. Alright, now this 1 centimeter, it's been scaled to 10 parts. Alright, so it's been scaled to 10 parts. Alright, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5. So 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Alright, so that means, see, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. From 0 to 1 centimeter, there are 10 parts scale to, and that represent each part 1 millimeters. See that? So this is 1 millimeters, 1 millimeters, and this is 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters, 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters, 7 millimeters, 8 millimeters, 9 millimeters, 10 millimeters. So what that tells you? 10 millimeters makes 1 centimeters. Now remember, I magnified it. It's a small. I just make it bigger. So that, can you tell that? That means that millimeters is how small it is. Let's look at the scale. Let's look at the ruler again. Okay, Mr. Max, going to bring it closer. Now look at that. okay, this is 1 centimeters. If I had to break that into 10 parts, see how small that would be? Okay, so that is the millimeters. That's why I told you, for ants, for cockroach, something small, which you want to use the smaller measurement, which is the millimeters, because that will give you the more precise measurement. Alright, that's the purpose of using the units based on the length, what you want to measure, because it gives you a better measurement. Alright, okay, so now you can see that 1 centimeters equals to 10 millimeters. See that? Now we created a relationship between centimeters and millimeters, meters and centimeters. Okay, right now I'm just going to put this down. I'm going to show you how to remember them. Alright, the relationship. Okay, so right now I'm just going to show you how this all come into relationship. Now what about meter and kilometers? Now as you can see, this is from A to B is 1 meter. If I to put this 1,000 times, can you imagine that? This A to B, of course there's no way Mr. Max can show this in the board. Alright, that means I take this, I put 1,000 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000. Alright, can you imagine that? That makes 1 kilometers. So that's why kilometers is so long. From here to your school, let's say we say 10 kilometers, that means it's very long. See that? That means what? Each kilometers has how many meters? 1,000 meters. Okay, so we know now, 1 kilometers makes 1,000 meters. So that means I have to take this A to B 1,000 times to make 1 meters. See that? So now you understand the relationship between centimeters and millimeters, meters and centimeters, and kilometers and meters. Okay, let's rewrite that. Okay, in order. Okay, so we know that 1 centimeters equals to how many millimeters? 10 millimeters. Okay, 1 meters equals to how many centimeters? 100 centimeters. 1 kilometers equals to how many meters? 1,000 meters. See that? Okay, and that's the basic units that you need to know. Okay, this is you need to know. You need to memorize it. Okay, there's no shortcuts to that. You need to know 1 centimeter equals to 10 millimeters, 1 meter equals to 100 millimeters, and 1 kilometer equals to 1,000 meters. Okay, so always remember, millimeters is the smallest, and then centimeter is next, and then meter is next, and the kilometer is the longest. Alright? Okay, good. Now let's erase this board. Mr. Max will erase the board, and I'll be back and we talk about how to convert, okay, between, if I were to give you certain length, alright, in let's say millimeters, how to convert that into centimeters. If I give you in a form of meters, how to convert that into millimeters or centimeters, things like that. Alright? So I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now let's say for example, okay, now first let's write down all the units. I'm sure you already memorized it by now, alright? Okay, good. So let's write down. So 1 centimeters equals to how many millimeters? 10 millimeters. Okay, 1 meters equals to how many centimeters? 100 centimeters. Okay, and 1 kilometers equals to how many meters? 1,000, okay, meters. All right, so now let's say for example, Mr. Mac, to give you, let's say if I ask you 4 centimeters equals to how many millimeters? So I want to convert the centimeter units to millimeters. Okay, and this is why we're going to use the rotation method. Okay, how is that? Now we know that first we take this, see that this is centimeter and millimeters. So when you go from centimeter to millimeters, you multiply that by 10. When you go from millimeters to centimeters, you divide by 10. So always remember the rotation method, okay? You're always going from the centimeters to millimeters, okay? You multiply that by 10. When you go from millimeters to centimeter, you divide that by 10, okay? If I to do from meter to centimeters, then if I go from the rotation method, see that? Always going the clockwise, okay? From meter to centimeter, I multiply that with 100. To go to centimeter. When I go from centimeter to meter, I divide that with 100. Okay, so keep in mind. All right, now if I go from kilometers to meters, all right, so kilometer to meter. I multiply that with 1000 to get to meters. If I want to go from meter to kilometer, I divide that with 1000. Okay, so this is called rotation method. All right, for centimeter to millimeter, meter to centimeter, kilometers to meter. All right, how do we apply that? Now let's say, for example, in this case, I want to go from centimeter to millimeters. Centimeter to millimeters. What do? Multiply that by 10. See that? So I substitute this centimeter with, multiply that by 10. So 4 times 10 millimeters. Okay, so that makes it 40 millimeters. Because 4 times 10, whenever you have a round number, you multiply with the 10, 100, 1000, you just add the 0 behind it. As long as it's 100 or 10 or 100, 1000, okay? Then you just take the 0, you just add behind it. See the 4 and then add 1 0 behind it. See that? So 4 times 10 is 40 millimeters. Now if I were to say, let's say I have a 5 meters and I want it in a form of centimeters. So I'm going from meter to centimeters. See the meter to centimeters. What do? I multiply that by 100. Okay, so I substitute right here 5 times 100 centimeters. Okay, because I'm going to what? Meter to centimeters. That makes it 500 centimeters. I just take the 2 zeros, put it behind the 5. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Now, if I was to ask you, what would be, let's say, 5 kilometers. And I want to find out 5 kilometers equal to how many meters. So where do I go? Kilometers to meters, I multiply with what? 1000. Alright? So I substitute the kilometers right there. I say 5 times 1000 meters. So that makes it 5. Put the 3 zeros behind it. 1, 2, 3 meters. Very important. You got to put the unit. Alright? Because that tells you 5 kilometers is equals to 5,000 meters. 4 centimeters equals to 40 millimeters. 5 meter equals to 500 centimeters. See that? We use this rotation method to go from this direction. Alright? The clockwise direction, from centimeter to millimeter, meter to centimeter, kilometer to meters. Now what happened if I were to give you, I told you 400 centimeters equals to how many meters? So now I'm going from centimeters to meters. So look at that, centimeters to meters. What do? I divide it with 100. See that? Now the word, I'm going to divide that with 100. I'm going to substitute where the centimeter is with divide by 100. So 400, I'm going to divide that with 100 millimeters. Okay? I'm going from, centimeters. So I'm going from centimeters to meter, I'm going to divide. So 400 divided by 100 meters. Alright? So now look at that. I'm dividing. Whenever you divide, you locate that decimal. Alright? For 400, where is the decimal? It's right there. You don't see it. We usually don't show it, okay? But you put the decimal on there. And then look, you're dividing with how many zeros? 100 has how many zeros? 2 zeros. You grab the decimal and move it to the left. When you divide, you move it to the left. So I'm going to grab the decimal and move it to the left. How many times? 2 times. Why? Because I'm dividing with 100 that has 2 zeros. So I'm going to move it 2 times. 1, 2, and then I'm going to put the decimal right there. So that makes it 4 meters. See that? Okay? Let Mr. Mike erase the board so we can talk more about that one. That's a good one, okay? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students. Now let's say, for example, if I have, let's say 750 millimeters and I want to express that in the form of centimeters. Alright, so which way am I going? Millimeters to centimeters. So I'm going this direction. See that? Which means what? I'm going to divide that by what? 10. Divide that by 10. Okay, so I'm going to substitute this millimeters. So I put 750. I'm going to divide that by 10 centimeters. See that? Okay, so that means what do? I locate the decimal. Where's the decimals? Right here. Okay, I'm going to grab the decimal and move it to which direction? to your left. Why left? When you divide, you go to the left. The number gets smaller. When you multiply, you go to the right. Okay, so in this case, we're dividing. Okay, we're going to go to the left. How many times? Once. Why once? Because 10 only got 1 0. Okay, so I'm going to grab the decimal. I'm just going to put once right there. I'm going to put the decimal right there. So it becomes 75 centimeters. So that means 750 millimeters equals to 75 centimeters. See that? Okay, let's do another one. Okay, let's say if I give you, all right, 4,750. Okay, 4,750 meters, and I want that to be expressed in a form of kilometers. All right. So which way are we going? Meters to kilometers, and we're doing what? Dividing by what? 1,000. All right, we're going to divide that by 1,000. All right, in order for me to go from meter to kilometers, I'm going to divide that by 1,000. So I'm going to substitute this meter with what? Divided by 1,000 kilometers. All right, so I'm going to put 4750 right there. 4,750. So I'm going to divide that by 1,000. Now 1,000 has how many zeros? 3 zeros. Okay, and I'm dividing. First, what's my first step? Locate the decimal. Locate the decimal. Where's the decimal? It's right here. Alright, and I'm going to grab the decimal and move to which direction? Good job, to the left. Why left? Because it's dividing. When you divide, the number gets smaller, so you got to move it to the left. How many times do I move it? Very good. Why 3 times? Because 1,000 got 3 zeros. So I grab it, I move it 3 times. 1, 2, 3, and then put the decimal right there. So it becomes 4.75. See, the 0 has no value from our decimal. Remember, I'm just going to drop that. Equals kilometers. So 4,750 meters is equals to 4.75 kilometers. See that? See, this is such a big numbers. You see, if I say 4,750 meters from here to the shop, you're like, whoa, 4,750 meters, what is that? If I told you 4.75 kilometers, then you'd say, oh, because you're familiar with the distance, with the kilometers. Oh, 4.75 kilometers. That's pretty much, takes 5 kilometers from my house to the school, so I know how far it is from here to the shop. See that? See, it helps you to understand, comprehend, all right, the length, much easier. When I give you such a big number like 4,750 meters, you get scared. It's like, whoa, it got to be really long. See that? It is pretty long. But meters, you don't get the picture properly. But if I told you 4.75 kilometers, that means you know, okay, I know how long it is because you're used to it. Because when you're traveling in the car, you solve the distance, you know, and you're familiar with what kilometers distance would look like. Okay? Alright, good. So that's the key, alright? Using the rotation method, alright? Make sure if you're going from centimeter to millimeter, you multiply. Meter to centimeters, kilometers to meters, you multiply. Because you know that this unit, alright? This unit getting bigger, alright? By changing the unit become bigger. Alright, from centimeter to millimeters. When you go this direction, the units get smaller, and that's why you divide. When you go bigger, you multiply. When you go smaller, you divide. Alright? Okay, good. Okay, well, let Mr. Mac erase the board, and let's do a few more problems, alright? How about Mr. Mac, let's do a few problems, and then we will work together. So that we will understand how to use the rotation method, alright? I'm going to keep this here, and also that there. I'm just going to put a few problems here, okay? So, how about we do this? Hands-on practice. That's a good one. Let's do it, alright? Hands-on practice, alright? I'll be back in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, I got some problems listed on the board. Pablo also got the worksheet, okay? Let's call Pablo out. He's going to come out and he's going to hand over the worksheet, alright? Alright, Pablo, come on over. Come on over, Pablo. Hand over the worksheet to our dear student. They're ready for hands-on practice, alright? Here it is, my dear students. Have fun with it, okay? And then make sure you pause the video and then invite Mr. Mac in once you're done. Alright, my dear students, how was it? It was pretty easy, isn't it? It's like a breeze. Am I right? So I know you have done it well. Alright, let's do it together, okay? Let's do it. Okay, let's look at the first one. It says convert. So we are converting all this, okay? Based on what has been requested. 4 centimeters equals to how many millimeters? We're going from where? Centimeters to millimeters. So centimeters to millimeters, what do? We multiply that by 10. Very important. So we're going to multiply the 4 by 10 millimeters. In other words, we're substituting the centimeters right there with 10 millimeters. Alright, so 4 times 10 is what? Whenever you multiply with 10, 100 and all that, you just add 0 behind it. So you put 4, 0. 4 and then add 0, becomes 40 millimeters. Alright? So it becomes 40 millimeters. So we're going from 2.75 meters to centimeters. We're going from meter to centimeters. So I times it with 100. Okay? So I'm going to multiply this by 100. So in other words, I'm going to substitute this meter with what? 100 centimeters. So I can put 2.75 times 100 centimeters. So when earlier I talked about when you multiply with the round number with a 10, 100 or 1000, you just add the 0 behind it. But in this case you got decimal. What you do is when you multiply, you grab the decimal and you move it to the right, to your right. See that? From a decimal. See that? What you learn from decimals coming to play right now. So we're going to grab that by the decimal and move it to the right. How many times? Based on how many zeros that 100 has. 2 zeros. So we're going to move it twice. 1, 2. Right there. I put the the decimal right there. So that makes it 275 centimeters. 275 centimeters. That means 2.75 meter equals to 275 centimeters. Alright? Okay, good. Now let's look at the next one. You got 0.49 kilometers and we're going to meters. So we're moving from kilometers to meters. Kilometers to meters, what do? I multiply that with 1000. Okay, 1000. So in other words, I'm going to substitute this kilometer right there with times 1000 meters. Okay, because I'm going towards the meters. So I'm going to put 0.49. Alright, so what do? So decimal. So I'm going to grab the decimal and move it to your right. How many times? Very good. Why 3? Because 1000 got 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to grab the decimal. I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3. See that? And then put the decimal right there. The first bubble got 4 in it. Second bubble got 9 in it. This is the third bubble. There's nothing. But you put a 0 to it. So that becomes 490 meters. Okay? 490 meters. So 0.49 kilometers equals to 490 meters. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, let's look next one. Now this one, you got 680 millimeters and you want it in the form of centimeters. You're going from millimeters to centimeters. Let's locate them. Millimeters to centimeters. It's dividing. Alright, we're going this direction. Alright, so it's no longer multiplication because we're going from millimeters to centimeters. We're going to divide that by 10. Alright, so we're going to substitute this with divided by 10 centimeters. Alright, so we get 680. So what do? We locate the decimal. Where is the decimal? Mr. Mac, there's no decimal. There is, but it doesn't show, but we have to locate it. Where is it? Right there. Right behind the 680. Alright, and then I grab it and move it how many times? 1 times. Why 1? Because 10 only got 1 0. To which direction? To your left, because I'm dividing. See that? So I'm going to move 1 right there. And then put the decimal right there. So it becomes 68. 0.0, there's 0.0, the 0 have no value, I'm just going to drop it, I'm just going to put 68. So 680 millimeters is equals to 68 centimeters. Alright, okay, let's look at this one. 190 centimeters equals to how many meters? I'm going from where? Centimeters to meters. So centimeters to meters is what? Divide by 100. See that? We're going to divide that by 100. Okay, so we're going to substitute the centimeters, divide that by 100 meters. Okay, so we put 190. So what do? Locate the decimal. The decimal is right there, and then move it to the left. How many times? Twice. Why twice? Because 100 got 2 zeros. So I'm going to grab the decimal, move it to the left. 1, 2, and then I'm going to put the decimal right there. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Because 100 got 2 zeros, I moved it twice. Right there, and then it becomes 1.9. The 0 behind it have no value, so I just put 1.9 meters. 1.9 meters. See that? So it's very powerful when you use that. It's so easy. Alright, let's look at this one. Going from meter to kilometers. Meter to kilometers. I'm going to divide by 1000. See that? I'm going to divide. So I'm going to substitute this meter with divided by 1000, okay, kilometers. So I'm going to put 3400. And where's the decimal? Right there. And then I grab it and move it to which direction? To your left. How many times? 3 times. Why 3 times? Because 1000 got 3 zeros. Exactly. So we're going to move it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to put the decimal right there. So it becomes 3.4. Now what about the zeros? No value to it. We just said 3.4. Because 3.400, no value. We're just going to drop the zeros. We're just going to put 3.4 kilometers. So that means 3,400 meters equals to 3.4 kilometers. Alright? I know. You said, Mr. Mac, you didn't explain to us this. Well, you are Mr. Mac student, you belong to Score A Math Victory, and Mr. Mac thought I should challenge you. But it's pretty easy, straightforward. We can still use this. Alright? We're going from meter to millimeters. Alright? So look at that. Meter to millimeters. But we only got meter to centimeters. But we change meter to centimeters and then centimeters to millimeters. That's it. So let's first change it to centimeters. Alright? So 7 meters equals to how many centimeters? So we're going from meters to centimeters. I'm going to do what? Times it with 100 first, okay? So I'm going to take 7 times with 100 centimeters. That gives me what? 7 times 100. I just put the 0 behind the 7, 2 zeros. Becomes 700 centimeters. Now I'm going from 700 centimeters and I'm going towards millimeters. So that centimeters to millimeters, I do what? Times it with 10. Alright? So I take 700 centimeters. I'm just going to times it with 10 millimeters. See that? Because the centimeters to millimeters, I times it with 10. So that gives me what? 7,000. See that? I just add another 0 behind the 2 zeros. So become 3 zeros. Millimeters. So that means 7 meters equals to 7,000 millimeters. So 7 meters equals to 7,000 millimeters. That's it. Pretty easy, isn't it? See that? Let's recap that again. Let's redo it again, okay? I'm going from 7 meters to millimeters, okay? 7 meters to millimeters, but we didn't have that. But you can do it, okay? By using what? First, I go from meters to centimeters, and then centimeters to millimeters. So I got to do 2 steps, alright? So first, I'm going to change it to meters to centimeters. So when I go from meter to centimeters, what do? I times it with 100. See that? That's what I did. Times with 100. That give me 700 centimeters. Then now I'm going to the 700 centimeters. Centimeters to millimeters. What do? I times it with 10. So I take 700 times 10 millimeters. That gives me 7,000 millimeters. So 7 meters equals to 7,000 millimeters. Now let's do this one. Okay? You got 6,500 millimeters. And I want a form of meters. So millimeters to meters, but I only go to centimeters. Let's switch it to centimeters, and then from centimeters switch it to millimeters. See that? Centimeters, millimeters to centimeters, and centimeters to meters. Alright, let's do that. So we're going to go from millimeters to centimeters. What do? Divide that by 10. Okay, so first step is going to do is we're going to go millimeters to centimeters. Alright, so we're going to do what? Divide that by 10. Alright, so we're going to divide this by 10. So we're going to substitute this, divide that by 10. Alright, that gives me centimeters. Alright, so where's the decimal? It's right there. And I grab the decimal, move it to which direction? To your left. How many times? Once. Why? 10. I'm dividing by 10, so I move it just once. And then put a decimal right there. So that gives me 650 centimeters. Am I done? No, I want the answer to be in a form what? Meters. Okay, so I'm going to go centimeters to meter. See that? I do what? Divide that by 100. I divide that by 100. Okay, so now I want to go from 650 centimeters to meters. So that means I'm going to divide this by 100 meters. Alright, so where's the decimals? Right there. How many times do I move it? When I divide by 100, twice. 1, 2. Then I put the decimal right there. Okay, put the decimal right there. Alright, so that makes it 6.5. So that gives me 6.5 meters. So that tells me 6,500 millimeters equals to 6.5 meters. So 6.5 I'm sorry, okay, 6.5, I put the wrong place, 6.5 meters. See that? Because the 650 centimeters belongs to that one, so 650 centimeters. Okay, I'll put right there. Okay, and then 650 centimeters to meters, so it's 6.5 right there, which is same as that one. All right, let's recap again. So we want to change 6,500 millimeters to meters. All right, but we don't have that in the rotation method, but we do have millimeters to what? Centimeters, and then centimeters to meters. We're going to do two steps. So first we're going to do is we're going to change the millimeters to centimeters. So when I go from millimeters to centimeters, what do? I divide that by 10. Okay, so that's what I did, pretty much divide that by 10. So I move the decimal, that's the decimal right there, once. That gives me 6,500 millimeters equals to 650 centimeters. Okay, so now I got 650 centimeters. I want to change this 650 centimeters to meters. So what I do? I divide that by 100, and that's what I did right there. 650, divide that by 100, and then take the decimal, move it how many times? Twice. 1, 2. I put the decimal right there. So that gives me 6.5 meters. So that tells me 6,500 millimeters equals to 6.5 meters. These are all the steps to get to the 6.5 meters. Just like this one right there. All the steps to get to the 7,000 millimeters. Alright, good job. Alright, good. I'll let Mr. Mac erase the board. Now we're going to talk about adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing using the units. Alright, and I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, my dear students. Alright, in this part we're going to learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide, okay, using those units. Now before we do that, let's write down the relationship between the units for the length. Okay, so we know that 1 centimeters equals to 10 millimeters. Alright, so and then 1 meters equals to 100 centimeters, and 1 kilometers equals to 1,000 meters. Alright, so it's very important. You got to understand this, you got to know this. Alright, so this is the units, the relationship between the units. Okay, now let's say for example, if I were to give you 48 centimeters, 9 millimeters, and then I'm adding it with 12 centimeters with 7 millimeters. So when you have something like this, you always line them up by their units. Alright, in this case, what I mean by that, centimeters, centimeters, line them up, millimeters, millimeters, line them up. Okay, so let's do that. So let's take the 48 centimeters, 9 millimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one and then I'm going to line them up. Okay, 7 millimeters and then 12 centimeters. Very important, lining them up. Okay, never ever try to add like this. Always line them up and then you add them, but you always start from the smaller units, which will be the millimeters. Okay, so we know that the relationship between millimeters and centimeters. Alright, first let's add them. 9 plus 7 is 16 millimeters. But now look at that, when you have 16 millimeters, now look at that, 10 millimeters makes 1 centimeters. So you want to change this, because you don't want to keep this as a 16 millimeters. You want to keep it below the 10. Below the 10 millimeters. Alright, why is that? Because 10 millimeters makes 1 centimeter, and I can take that 10 out of the 16, which would be what? So that makes it 1 centimeters and 6 millimeters. See that? So I can take this 1 centimeters and carry it over and just leave it as a 6 millimeters. Okay, so I'm going to carry 1 over here. Now I add 1 plus 8 is 9, 9 plus 2 is 11. Okay, so I put 1, I carry 1. So 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 1 is, very good, 6. So that makes it 61 centimeters. So the final answer is 61 centimeters and 6 millimeters. Alright, so there you go, and that should be your final answer right there. Okay, so it's very important. Understand, when you have 16 millimeters, you change that to 1 centimeters, 6 millimeters, and then you take that 1 and add on to it. Okay, let's say for example, if I were to have 240 centimeters, now look at that, 240 centimeters, I can change that to 2 meters and 40 centimeters. Why is that? Because 200 makes 2 meters. See that? 100 centimeters makes 1 meters. 200 centimeters makes how many meters? 2 meters. See that? So this is the proper way of expressing it. Okay? So when you're dealing with, let's do for example. Okay, let's say for example, Mr. Mac to have, let's say 6 meters and 45 centimeters, and I'm adding it with, let's say 12 meters and 82 centimeters. When you have something like this, what's our first step ought to be? Lining them up. Exactly, line them up by their units, okay, by the family, alright? Okay, so we're going to line it up. So we're going to take this one, and then we're going to just bring this one down, okay? I'm going to take 82 centimeters, okay? I'm going to put 82 centimeters, and then a 12, okay? So the 1 meters, we're going to add them. Now, always is a good idea, we keep the big on the top, the small on the bottom, but it doesn't matter. As long you line them up right, you should be good, alright? Based on their place values, okay? So good. So now we have centimeters. So centimeter one side, meter one side. 5 plus 2 is 7. 4 plus 8 is 12. Now look at that. That gives you 127 centimeters. Now look at that. 127 centimeters already passed that 100 centimeters. So we can convert that 100 centimeters into 1 meters. Okay, that means I know this will be 1 meters, 27 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to write down 27 centimeters and carry that 1 up there. So 1 plus 6 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9. So that becomes 9, and then bring the 1 down, becomes 19 meters, 27 centimeters. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? So the key thing is what? Lining them up, alright? So when you line them up, you add them. If it passes to the conversion unit like this one, like for example, then you convert them. Don't leave it as 127 centimeters, because you know that 100 out of the 127 makes 1 meters. So you can add that to that. Alright, so you keep it below 100 when it comes to centimeters. You keep it below 10 when it comes to millimeters. You keep it below 1000 when it comes to meters. Alright, pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say for example, I want to give you the form for meters. Alright, let's see if I give you 4 kilometers, and then I got 750 meters, and then I'm adding it with, let's say, 500 meters and 6 kilometers. I already lined up for you. Okay, so all you gotta do is what? Just add them. Alright, so if I had given you in this format, you just line them up by their unit values. Okay, now I'm going to add 0 plus 0 is 0, 5 plus 0 is 5, 7 plus 5 is 12. So that gives me 1250 meters. And you know that 1000 meters makes what? 1 kilometers. See, that's already past that 1000. So now I can break it down. I can say 1 kilometer, 250 meters. See that? Then I can take that 1 kilometer and raise it up. Put that 1 right there. And then, so just put that as a 250 meters. Okay, so 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 6 is 11. So that gives me 11 kilometers. So that is 11 kilometers, 250 meters. Alright? Okay, keep in mind. Now, if it's fall below the 1000, then don't worry about it. Just leave it the way it is. Alright? What do I mean by that? Okay, let's say for example, if I have, let's say 7 kilometers and 30 meters, and then I got 4 kilometers, and then I got, let's say 60 meters. Okay, I'm adding them. Alright, even if 100 and 500. Alright, even if I had 130 meters and 560 meters, doesn't matter. Alright, I add them. So I got 0 plus 0 is 0, 3 plus 6 is 9, 1 plus 5 is 6, 600 meters. Now 600 meters is below the 1000. Am I going to convert that to kilometers? No, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So I'm just going to leave it this way. 7 plus 4 is 11 kilometers. So my final answer is 11 kilometers 690 meters. But in this one, it went over the 1,000. That's why I converted the 1,000 into 1 kilometer, the balance 250 meters, and leave it the way it is. See that? And then bring that 1 up there, and then add 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 6 is 11 kilometers. And this is my final answer. Right there. Alright, pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward, okay? But the key thing is what? That's right there. You got to know the conversion, okay, between centimeters and millimeters, meters and centimeters, kilometers and meters. Alright? So you got to memorize. There's no shortcut to this. You got to know this units conversion. Alright? Once you know this, then you can apply it and you should be able to do this. Alright? You got to keep this in your fingertips. Boom. The moment if I ask you, so you got to keep all this in your fingertips, okay? So if I ask you 1 centimeter equals to how many millimeters? Boom, you have to say, tell me 10 millimeters. If I ask you 1 meters equal to how many centimeters? And right away you should tell me 100 centimeters. If I ask you 1 kilometers equals to how many meters? And you should tell me it's equals to 1,000 meters. Alright? So make sure you know that. Alright? Good. Let Mr. Mac erase this board and let's talk about subtraction. Alright? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, now are you ready for subtraction? Alright, it's same idea, except you're subtracting. Same idea as the addition. Alright, you line it up, and you in this subtraction operation, you're just subtracting. Alright, so let's say for example, if Mr. Mac to give you 6 centimeters, and let's say 9 millimeters, okay? And I'm subtracting with 4 centimeters and 5 millimeters. It's very important. What's the first step? Lining them up. Exactly, line them up by the unit, the family, alright? So I'm going to put 6 centimeters and 9 millimeters, and then I'm going to bring that down 5 millimeters and 4 centimeters. Write this unit so that way you know you're lining up with the same family, okay? The same unit. Millimeters and millimeters, centimeters and centimeters. Very important. Once you mix it up, the answer is wrong, alright? So we're going to subtract that. 9 minus 5 is 4 millimeters. 6 minus 4 is 2 centimeters. That's it, right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, now let's say for example, if I give you, let's say 8 meters and 25 centimeters, and I'm minusing with 3 meters and 70 centimeters. Okay, what do? Again, we line them up, alright? The key thing is lining them up. So we take this one. Now always remember that this one, you gotta bring this one, put the first one, because you're subtracting with that, alright? You cannot start with this and that. You always do the addition, yes, you can start whichever you want, alright? So, but with the subtraction, you gotta start with this one. So you gotta take 8 meters and 25 centimeters, and then line them up, okay? So you put the 70 centimeters right here, and the 3 meters right here, okay? So 70 centimeters right here, 3 meters right here. Look at this, 25 centimeters and 70 centimeters. So 25 is too small for 70, am I right? So you borrow from 8. And you know that when I take 1 meters out of the 8, which becomes 7, okay, I take this 1 meter, but I cannot put it as a 1 meter. I have to convert that 1 meter into centimeters. And I know that 1 meter equals to what? 100 centimeters. So that means I can take the 100 centimeters, and this one becomes 125 centimeters. See that? Now I can subtract. Okay, so 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus 7, I cannot. Now I take 12. 12 minus 7 is 5. See that? There becomes 55 centimeters. Okay, now 7 minus 3 is 4 meters. That's it. See that? So when the number is smaller for the thing to subtract, you borrow from 8, from meters. But make sure you convert that 1 that you borrow from the meter based on the unit conversion. In this case, it's 100. Alright? Let's say if it's supposed to be let's say if it's in the form of millimeters, then you give it as a 10. Alright? Okay, let's do another one. Let's say for example, if I were to give you 12 kilometers minus 5 kilometers 750 meters. I give you something like this. Now I gave you only 12 kilometers. In this one I'm subtracting with 5 kilometers and 750 meters. Doesn't matter. What do you do? Line them up, okay? Start with 12 kilometers and then you put 0 meters, alright? And then line them up with that one. So in this case is 0.57 meters and this one is 5 kilometers, okay? Now look at this. I cannot subtract 0 with 750. I have to borrow 1 from 12. So that becomes 11 and this one becomes what? 1 kilometers equals to how many meters? 1000. So I take that 1, okay, kilometers, I make it 1000. So that means 0, 0, 1. See that? Okay, so let's rewrite that. So in other words, it becomes 11 kilometers, 1000 meters. Now I lined it up, 0, 5, 7 meter and then 5 kilometer. See that? Okay, now I subtract. Okay, so now we can subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 5, I cannot borrow from this 0, 0 none, I borrow from this. So this one becomes 0, this one becomes 10, this one becomes 9 and this one becomes 10. So 10 minus 5, 5. 9 minus 7, 2. See that? So it becomes 250 meters. 11 minus 5, 6 kilometers. So 6 kilometers, 250 meters. So it's very important, okay? When you don't have enough, you borrow it from the other units, alright? And make sure you convert it based on the conversion. This says 1000, so you got to give it 1000. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, let's say for example, if I give you, alright, 9 kilometers, 25 meters minus 4 kilometers and 160 meters. Okay, so let's say I give you this and ask you to solve it. What do you do? Again, line them up. Very important, lining them up. Okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it right here. Alright, 9 kilometers, 25 meters. Now bring this one. Okay, 0.61 1 meter and then 4 kilometers. Alright, you're going to subtract them. Now look at this. You got 25 meters, you're subtracting with 160 meters. And you can't because this one's smaller, this one's bigger. So you have to borrow 1 from 9. Alright, from the kilometer. So you make 9 becomes 8. You take the 1 kilometers and you want to change it to meters. Which you know that 1 kilometer equals to what? 1000 meters. Okay, 1000 meters. That means I'm going to take the 1000 meters, adding it to the 25 meters. So that's just very important. Alright, so let's take this right there. So I'm going to take the 1000. So let's add them. So you got 1000. I'm adding it with 25. Lining them was very important. So that becomes 5201. So it becomes 1025 meters. So I'm going to rewrite here. So we'll get 8 kilometers, 1025 meters. Okay, 1025 meters minus with 160. So 0.61 meters and 4 kilometers. Very important. Okay, so do that. Evaluate. Can I subtract? The number is smaller, this is bigger. That means I have to borrow. Put it in this form first, then subtract them. Alright, don't jump in, subtract and then try to borrow it. Express in this form, be a lot easier. Okay, now I'm going to subtract. Alright, so 5 minus 0 is 5. 2 minus 6 I can't. I borrow from 0. 0 can I borrow from 1. So this one becomes 9. And 2 becomes 12. 12 minus 6 will be 6. 9 minus 1 will be 8. So that gives me 865 meters. 8 minus 4 is 4 kilometers. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Okay, I gave you 9 and 4, but this one's smaller, this one's bigger. I cannot subtract, so I have to borrow from the 9. And I took 1 from the 9, becomes 8, 1 kilometers. I have to convert that kilometers to meters. And that's what I did. 1000 plus 25 gives me 1025 meters. Then I rewrote it. Now I subtract it. Alright? Okay, good. Alright, my dear students. So now you learn how to subtract as well. You learn how to add, you learn how to subtract. Now we're going to talk about multiplication, alright? So give me a few seconds. Max can erase the board and we'll do the multiplication of it, alright? I'll be back with you. Alright, my dear students, you're ready for multiplication? It's very straightforward as well, just like the addition and subtraction, alright? Multiplication, you just do the multiplication operation, alright? Let's say, for example, if I give you 12 centimeters and then 9 millimeters, and I'm multiplying that with 5, okay? Now again, line them up. Very important, line them up. How do I do? What do I mean by that? You put 12 centimeters, 9 millimeters, and you put times and put the 5 right there and then put the line. Alright, line it up with the to the very right to you. Okay, so 5 times 9 is what? 45. Okay, let's put that down. 45 millimeters. Okay, now before we do anything, just go ahead and multiply them out first, and then we're going to do the conversion. Alright, we're going to rearrange it in a proper order. What do I mean by that? I'll show you. 5 times 12 is 60, okay? So it's on our timetable range, so we're going to put 60 centimeters. Or 5 times 2 is 10, 0, carry 1, and then 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6, okay? 60 centimeters. But look at this, 60 centimeters, 45 millimeters. It should make you feel uncomfortable. You said, something is not right. See that? Mathematics is like this. Have you ever seen anyone walking with their shirts inside out, their tags sticking out in the back, You felt like so uncomfortable. You want to tell that person, you are wearing your shirt inside out, not proper way. See that? Even though the person is wearing the shirt, but you just feel not comfortable, don't feel good about it. See, that same thing with mathematics. You should feel the same way. When you see 45 millimeters, you just feel like, even though it's correct, it's fine, 45 millimeters, but it's not properly expressed. Why? It's past the 10 millimeters, because you know that 10 millimeters equals to what? 1 centimeter. That means I can convert this 45 millimeters. A part of it will be centimeters and part of it will be millimeters. That means 4 centimeters plus 5 millimeters. How's that? Because we know that 40 millimeters plus 5 millimeters. Okay, the 40 millimeters is the one I'm converting to centimeters, which is what? 4 centimeters. Remember the rotation method? Okay, when you have 40 millimeters, how to go to centimeters? You divide that by 10. So when you divide that by 10, you grab the decimal and move it once. Right there, see that? When I put the decimal right there, it becomes 4 centimeters. Okay, so now I know it's a 4 centimeters plus 5 millimeters. So I can add that 4 centimeters right into 60. So that makes it 64 centimeters, 5 millimeters. And that should be your final answer. You got it? Okay, let's do another one. Okay, let's say, for example, okay, if I were to give you, let's say 15 meters, and then I give you 25 centimeters, and I'm multiplying that by 7. Alright, again, line them up. Alright, line them up. It's very important. Okay, so we're going to put 15 meters and 25 centimeters. So we're going to multiply that with 7. 7 times 5 is 35. So, okay, so we're going to put 5 and carry the 3. 7 times 2 is 14. 14 plus 3 is, very good, 17. Okay, 17. Okay, 17 centimeters. But don't worry about it. Leave it like that. All right. Let's continue. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, 5. Carry the 3. 7 times 1 is 7. Plus 3 is 10. All right. So 105 meters. Now, when you look at 175, you should feel just not right. You just don't feel right, am I right? Because why? The 175, because you already passed that 100 centimeters. Okay, so that means I know that I can convert that 100 into 1 meters. All right, because we know that 100 plus 75. Okay, all right, that means this can be changed into 1 meter plus 75 centimeters. So that means I can combine that to that one. So that makes it 106 meters and 75 centimeters. See that? 106 meters and 75 centimeters. Okay, let's do one more, one last final one. All right, let's deal with kilometers this time. Okay, let's say if I give you, okay, 6 kilometers, and then I give you 204 meters, and I'm multiplying that with, let's say, 10. Okay, let's multiply that by 10. What do we do? Lining them up. All right, we're going to line them up. All right, so we're going to put 6 kilometers and 204 meters, and we're going to times that with 10. Alright, so whenever you times with 10, you just add 0 behind it. Alright, so this 204 will becomes 2040. I just put the 0 behind it, and that's meters. Alright, and this one I just put another 0 behind it, kilometers, 60 kilometers. So whenever you times with 10, 100, 1000, 1000, you just take the number of 0 behind the round number. Only for round number. The decimal, you grab the decimal, you move it to the right when you multiply. Okay, in this case, it's a round number. I'm just going to put 0 behind it, put a 0 behind it. Okay, now look at this. 2040 meters. You should feel, alright? Okay, because why? Because you know that 1000 meters 1 kilometer, so you want to express in this format. All right, you want to keep it below 1000. Okay, so that we know that 2000 plus 40 is 2040 meters. So that means that 2000 equals to what? 2 kilometers. Okay, so in other words, Mr. Mac can break this up like this: 2000 plus 40. Okay, so these are meters. All right, I know this one, it will be what? 2 kilometers, all right, plus 40. Okay, so that means I can take this 2 and add it to the 60, and that should give me 62 kilometers, and that's gone. What is left? 40 meters. That should be my final answer. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Yeah, just straightforward. Just that you need to obey the rules, because mathematics has its own etiquettes. Okay, it says this is how I want it. No, all right, no, that's not what he wants it. He wants, this is what I want in mathematics. This is breaking the rules. All right, it's correct. It's nothing wrong with it. It is correct, but it just doesn't look am I right? Okay, just like somebody walk around with his shirts inside out, you know, the text all, you can see all the things, you just don't feel good about it. You just want to tell that person, do you realize that your shirt is inside, or even torn pants or torn sleeve or something like that. When you see that, you just want to go and tell that person, do you realize in the back of his shirt is torn? You know, you tell that person, courtesy thing. All right, so the same thing, you look at this, I don't feel like so you gotta do it right like this. Okay, all right, my dear students, let's do the division part of it. Okay, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. All right, my dear students, you're ready for the division? Okay, good. Now again, division, you just do with the division operation. Now learn there's a slightly difference between addition, subtraction and multiplication. What is it? Now addition, when we add the very right to left. Okay, we add the smaller unit first and then we go to the big unit. Alright, same thing with the subtraction. We subtract from the smaller unit before we went to the big unit. With multiplication, we did the same thing too. We multiply the small unit and then we went to the big unit. Alright, now with division, you divide the big unit first and then the small unit. What do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, if Mr. Mac to give you 15 centimeters and then 35 millimeters, and I'm dividing it by 5. Okay, I'm dividing by 5. Alright, we're going to use the long division method and we're going to call that cage approach. Okay, the cage approach. So we're going to put the cage. Alright, this is the cage. We're going to take this whole thing, because this is the way that I translate this or set this one into the long division form would be, this is kind of into Mr. Mac. See, that's kind of close, which will be in. I'm going to put inside the cage. Okay, so I'm going to put 15 centimeters, 35 millimeters. Alright, and then 5 is kind of out from Mr. Mac. I'm just going to put outside the cage. See that? Alright, now I'm going to start with the big unit. See, the centimeter is the big unit, millimeter is a small unit. Alright, so 15 divided by 5 is 3. Now make sure you bring the unit up. Okay, 15 divided by 5 is 3, and then bring the centimeter up. Alright, then 3 times 5 is 15 minus gives me 0. I'm done. There's no balance. Now I go to 35. 35 divided by 5 is 7. Now this is now timetable range, so we should be able to know that, okay? So we know 7 times 5 is 35 minus gives me 0. So bring the millimeter up. Right there. That's it. 3 centimeters, 7 millimeters. That's it. Okay, there's no other fancy to it, alright? Just done. You wrote down right there. That's a simple one. Now let's say, for example, I'll give you another one. Let's say second one, alright? So this time I give you 47 millimeters and then 7 centimeters divided by 9. Alright? Again, what do? We set them up in a form of long division, okay? Long division. In order to do the long division, I use the cage approach, okay? I'm going to put the cage, alright? And again, this whole thing is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. So I'm going to put 47 meters and 7 centimeters. Alright? Now the division, the 9 is kind of out. I'll put outside. Now ask yourself, 47. Of course, 4 you can go to 7. 47. But how many 9? From our timetable, what is the closest to 47? Will be 45, which is what? 5 times 9. 5 times 9 is what? 45. Okay, so I'm going to put 5. 5 times 9 is 45. So 7 minus 5 is 2. 4 minus 4 is 0. Now that's 2 meters. Alright? And you cannot divide anymore, but you get 7 centimeters. You want to convert that into centimeters. Okay? 2 meters equals to how many centimeters? 2 meters equals to 200 centimeters. See that? 1 meter is 100 centimeters. 2 meter will be 2 times 100. Okay? So it will be 200. So I'm going to make this one into 200 centimeters. And I'm going to combine that with that. So that makes it what? 207 centimeters. Okay? So now the 7 centimeter becomes 207 centimeters. Because why? From the balance from the 2 meters, which is 200 centimeters, I combined it with 7. Alright, so that means I took 200 plus 7, line them up, so 7, 0, 2. There you go, 207, okay? Now I divide. In 2 there's how many 9? 0. 20 there's how many 9? How many are there? 2, very good. So 2, so 2 times 9 is 18, minus 0 minus 8, I cannot borrow from 2, 2 becomes 1, 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 8 is 2, 1 minus 1 is 0, and then bring the 7 down. In 27 there's how many 9? Very good. 3, okay? So 3 times 9 is 27. So 3 times 9 is 27 minus gives me 0. See that? Once I'm down to 0, I'm done. So I bring the centimeter up. Okay? So let me erase this one out. So I bring the centimeter up and bring the meter up. Very important. Okay? So the final answer is 5 meters, 23 centimeters. Okay, so very important. See that? This one gave me balance. Earlier I didn't have any balance. So I'm done. So I went to the millimeters. Like centimeter I'm done, I went to millimeters. But this one, after I divide and everything, gave me 2 meters. And I cannot divide anymore. I have to convert that 2 meters into centimeters. Okay? So that it becomes 207 centimeters. We can add with the existing 7 meters with the 200 centimeters, give me 207. Now I take the 207 centimeters, I divide that by 9. No more 7. Because the balance from the 2 meters added to that. Alright? So that gave me 23 centimeters. So my final answer is 5 meters, 23 centimeters. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, let's do problem number 3. Let's do 3-1. Let's say I got 145 kilometers and then I got 200 meters and I'm dividing that by 12. Alright, so let's do that. Okay, so I got 145. Okay, so I got 145 kilometers, 200 meters, divide that by 12. So what approach we're going to use? The long division method. Alright, so I'm going to put the cage approach. Okay, so we're going to use the long division. So we're going to set this up into form of that. So what do we do? This is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. So I'm going to put 145 kilometers and 200 meters. Okay, so the division is kind of out from Mr. Mac. I'm going to put outside the cage. Okay, so I'm going to put 12 right there. Now ask yourself, 145, what is the closest to 12? 12 times 12 is what? 144. There you go, the 12 will be the closest. Okay, oh, you can start 14, there's how many 12? 1. 1 times 12 is 12, minus 4 minus 2 is 2, 1 minus 1 is 0. Bring the 5 down. In 25, there's how many 12? 2. 2 2 times 12 is 24 minus, give me 1, balance. That's 1 kilometers. See that? I need to change that into meters. Because 1 kilometer, I cannot divide that by 12. That's the balance. So I convert that into meters. So 1 kilometer equals to what? 1000 kilometers. So that makes it 1000 plus the 200. Line them up, alright? So 0, 0, 2, 1. So that becomes 1200. So I'm going to put down here 1200 meters. So no more this one, I'm dividing with this one. 1 I cannot, 2, 12. In 12 there's how many 12? 1. See that? 1. Now see that's a 0, bring the 0 up, meters. See that? Because that times that gives me 12,000. Minus gives me 0. Does that make sense? Alright? Okay, so very important, okay? So, because 12, that's how many 12? 1. When you subtract, that's already give you 0. Then when you get to 0, there's a 2 zeros behind, you just bring it up. That's what I did, pretty much. So that gives me 12 kilometers, 100 meters. Make sure you put the units, very important. The unit has to be there, alright? Okay, if not, the answer would be wrong. So because that's the only way to tell that 100 is a meter, the 12 is a kilometer. Otherwise, it could be anything. Am I right? It could be anything. Okay? Okay, good. Wow. We learn how to add, we learn how to subtract, we learn how to multiply, and we learn how to divide. That is awesome. That is great. It tells you what it's time for what? Hands-on practice. Yes. Let's do some hands-on practice, okay? So Mr. Max is going to erase the board, and I'm going to let Pablo come out and bring the worksheet, and then we'll work together, okay? Alright, give me a few seconds and I'll be back with you. Alright, my dear students. Alright, my dear students. Are you ready? Are you ready? I know you are ready, because we learned so much about addition, subtraction, multiplication and division using those units on length, alright? Okay, good. Well, let's call Pablo and have him come out and bring the worksheet for our hands-on practice. Alright, let's call him. Pablo, come on over. You two, call him. Pablo, there he is. Come on over, our dear Pablo. Alright, Pablo, hand over the worksheet to our dear students. So let them have some hands-on practice, alright? My dear students, make sure you pause the video and then have fun with it. And then come back and invite Mr. back in and we'll work together. Alright? Okay, here it is. Okay, good. Whoa, Pablo, you've been busy. He's been busy, isn't he? Alright, thank you, Pablo. How was it? It was not bad, isn't it? Pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward. Alright, good job. Let's do it together, okay? So you can compare the notes. Okay, let's do the first one. Now the first one with the addition, okay? Find the sum, alright? So you're given 1A. So you're given a 5 centimeters, 4 millimeters plus 3 centimeters, 7 millimeters, alright? So whenever you have a problem like this, what do? You line them up. Never try to add like this. You line them up, alright? So we're going to take 5 centimeters and then 4 millimeters, and then we're going to bring this one, then write down for 7 millimeters and then 3 centimeters. So we're going to add them. Okay, so 4 plus 7 is 11 millimeters. Okay, now 5 plus 3 is 8 centimeters. But look at this, 8 centimeters, 11 millimeters. Something should tell you. What is that? Okay, let's put down those conversion. Okay, we know that 1 centimeters equals to 10 millimeters. Okay, 1 meters equals to 100 centimeters, and 1 kilometers equals to 1000 meters. All right, so we know what's the problem here. What's the thing that makes it look uncomfortable? The 11, because 10. All right, it's already past the 10. All right, so we know that this will be 10 plus 1. That means this is 1 centimeters. I can add that, 1 centimeters to the 8. Okay, so that makes it 9 centimeters and 1 millimeters. Okay, so this should be your final answer. 9 centimeters and 1 millimeters. You got it? Good job. I know you got it. All right, good. All right, let's look problem B. Now B, you're given 19 meters and then 64 centimeters, and then 100, you're adding it with 112 meters and 82 centimeters. Now with the addition, when you have, let's say for example, see that this one's smaller and this one's bigger, you can write this one first and then followed by that. So that will be easier to line up. That's what it's all about, okay? So let's write that one, okay? Lining up, alright? So we're going to put 112 meters and 82 centimeters. Then we're going to take this one, line it up here. So we're going to put 64 right there. And then we're going to put 91 meters. Then we're going to add them. 2 plus 4 is 6. 8 plus 6 is 14. Alright? And that's centimeters. 2 plus 9 is 11. 1, carry 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then we're going to bring the 1 down. Okay? That's meter. So 131 meters, 146 centimeters. Look at that. 100 centimeters is the minimum. You want to go below the 100 centimeters, because 100 centimeters makes it 1 meter. So that means I can convert this into, I can break this one as 100 plus 46. See that? Okay, that means this will becomes 1 meter. That means I make it 1 meter. I can add it to that. So that gives me 132 meters and 46 centimeters. And that's my final answer right there. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay? Okay, good. Now let's look problem number C. Okay, C, you're given 7 kilometers, 405 meters. Okay? And you're adding it with 2 kilometers. Okay? So adding with 2 kilometers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start lining them up, alright? So since you already know the problem looks like, so I'm going to put the 2 kilometers right below the 7 and then the 874. So 874 below the meters, and then we're going to add them. Alright, so very important, lining them up, very important. So when you have this format, you line them up like that. Alright, so let's add them. 5 plus 4 is 9, 0 plus 7 is 7, 4 plus 8 is 12. Okay, 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 kilometers, 1279 meters. 1279 meters. The word 1000, that tells you 1000 meters equals to what? 1 kilometers. So we can break this up. Okay, we know that 1000 plus 279 meters. Alright, so this should be 1 kilometers. Okay, 1 kilometer. I can add to that one, gives me 10 kilometer and 279 meter, and that should be my final answer. See that? You got it? Good job. Give yourself a nice pat, alright? Okay, give me a few seconds, let Mr. Mac erase the board, and we'll do the second part of this problem, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, problem number 2 is the subtraction, alright? Okay, good. Let's do that. Problem 2A, alright? So let's do 2A. So it's asked us to solve, alright? We got 10 centimeters and 6 millimeters, and I'm subtracting with 4 centimeters and 9 millimeters, okay? So now we gotta line it up, alright? So we always start with this, alright? When subtraction, you have to start this side and then subtract with that. Okay, not like with the addition, you can decide which one you want to put according to the size of the number. Alright, in this case you have to write this first. So we're going to put 10 centimeters, 6 millimeters, and then we'll line it up, 9 millimeters and then 4 centimeters. We're going to subtract. Okay, always start from the right. Okay, but just like the addition, we start from the right. So 6 minus 9, I can't, so I have to borrow from 10. 10 becomes 9, and 1 centimeters equals to how many millimeters? 10. So I'm going to add the 10 to 6, it becomes 16. See that? So 16 minus 9 is what? 7. 7 millimeters. Now 9 minus 4, 5 centimeters. See that? It's pretty easy, isn't it? It's easy because you're the best. And you're learning, you're understanding, and you're doing well. That's just so easy. And you're keeping up on top of it. You're listening to what Mr. Mac's teaching. and you're doing your hands-on practice, and you're doing your quizzes and all that, so it's really helping you. That's why it's so easy, alright? Okay, good. Let's go to the next one, B. So we got B, you got 7 meters minus 2 meters and 35 centimeters. Look at that, this one only got 7 meters, doesn't have the centimeter. Alright, so I'm going to take 1 out of the 7 and make it into centimeters. Alright, so that means I got 6 meters and how many centimeters? 1 meter is equal to how many centimeters? 1 meter equal to 100 centimeters. So I'm going to put 100 centimeters. Now I'm going to line it up with that one. Okay, 35 centimeters and 2 meters. See that? Sometimes it's good to pre-plan before you write it out. Alright, look at that. Look like this one is missing the centimeters. Don't have any centimeters. So I take 1 and convert that into centimeters. That means I can subtract with the 35 centimeters. See that? It's a good way, okay? Alright, now let's subtract. 0 minus, you cannot, let's borrow from this. You cannot, so make it 9. And this one becomes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 3 becomes 6. Bring the centimeter down. 6 minus 2 is 4 meters, right there. That's it. Okay, good. Let's look C. Alright, C, we got C, you got 24 kilometers, 50 meters minus 18 kilometers and 670 meters. And it's always, like I said, always good to plan ahead, alright, before you write them down. Look at this. 50 meters, you're subtracting 670 meters. That's too small, so you have to borrow from the kilometers. So you want to borrow 1 and make this one to become 23. So you take 1 kilometers and convert that into meters. So that will become what? 1000 meters. So we're going to add that to 50. So we take the 1000 meters, add that with the 50, line them up. See that? So 0, 5, 0, 1. Very important, lining them up, adding them right. So now I'm going to put down 23 kilometers and 1050 meters and line it up with that. Okay, so we're going to put 0, 7, 6 meters and 18 kilometers. Now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0, 5 minus 7, I cannot borrow from 10, 10 becomes 9, 5 becomes 15, 15 minus 7 is, very good, it's 8, 9 minus 6 is 3 meters. See that? 3 minus 8, I cannot borrow from 2, 2 becomes 1, 3 becomes 13, 13 minus 8 is 5, 1 minus 1 is 0, so it becomes 5 kilometers. So the final answer is 5 kilometers, 380 meters. See? Alright? So the key thing is what? By looking at this, you know that this is small and this is big. So you plan ahead of time before you write down. So I want to borrow 1 from 1 kilometer. That gives me 1000 meters. Adding to the 50 meters, give me 1050 meters. Now I put it out. Now I can subtract. That's how mathematics. Mathematics is so beautiful because it teaches how to plan ahead before we solve it. Alright? Okay, good. Let Mr. Mike raise the board. Then we'll do problem number 3. That's on the production, on the product. Okay, find the product. I'll be back. Alright, number 3. Alright, number 3, find the product. Okay, so let's do 3A. The 3A, you're given 23 centimeters, 7 millimeters times 6. So what do we do? Line them up. That's it. That's the keyword. Line them up. Okay. So you're going to put 23 centimeters, 7 millimeters, and I'm going to put the 6 right there, and then we're going to multiply. All right. Always start from the small unit, the millimeters, and then centimeters. 7 times 6 will be, or 6 times 7 will be 42. Okay. So we're going to leave it right down first. We don't say we don't do anything yet. Leave it as a 42 millimeters. 6 times 3 is 18. So we're going to put 8, carry 1, 6 times 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Okay, 138 centimeters. Now look at that, 42 millimeters. See that? It went over the 10 millimeters. That means I can convert it. That means 40 plus 2. See that? Okay, that 40 millimeters equals to what? 4 centimeters by using the rotation method. Alright, so let's say for example I want to say 40 centimeters equal, 40 millimeters equals to how many centimeters? So we're going to use the rotation method, which is what? When you go from centimeters to millimeters, you multiply by 10. When you go from millimeters to centimeter, you divide that by 10. So we're going to divide that by 10. So 40 divided by 10. So that's a decimal. Move it once. Right there. So it becomes 4 centimeters. See that? So that means this is 4 centimeters. And I'm going to add that to that. So 8 plus 4 is 12. 2 carry 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. Bring 1. So it will be 142 centimeters. 2 millimeters. See that? 142 centimeters, 2 millimeters. Okay? Good. Let's do problem number B. So B, you're given 12 meters, 8 centimeters times 18. Don't let the numbers scare you. Just use the line up and just times them. Alright? So let's do that. So we're going to line it up. So we got 12 meters, 8 centimeters. Okay? So we're going to line it up. Always line it up like this. Alright? Okay, so now 8 times 8 is what? 64. So put 4, 6. Now see, this is 1 right there. So that's why it's very important, lining them up. See the 1 right there, you start right there. Okay, 1 times 8 is 8 right there. You put right there. Okay, very important. Alright, okay. Or if you have something like this, you take them aside. You can do this way too. 18 times 8. If you're comfortable like that. Same thing. 8 times 18 like this, or 18. So 8 times 8 is 64. So 4 and then you put 6. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 6 is 14. Okay, this is also give you 14. 4, 6 plus 8 is 14. Same thing. See that? Alright? So we'll still give you the same answer. But the key is if you have something like this, why say if you change it to that? It would be easier. If not, make sure you line them up. 8 times 8 is 64. And 4 and 6, 1. See the 1, you bring it straight down. 1 times 8 is 8 right there. And then you add them. Alright, so you give you 144 centimeters. Now, we're going to times this. 8 times 2 is 16. Alright, so 6 carry 1. 8 times 1 is... So now, be careful with this, okay? I shouldn't do it right now. Let's take this apart. Take that 12 and 18. 12 and 18, line them up. Okay, don't try to multiply like that. When you have more than 1 digit, put them on the side. Now look, 8 times 2 is 16. Carry 1, put 6, carry 1. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. This 1 right there is straight, you can start right there. 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. Now you add them. 6, 9 plus 2 is 11, carry 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So that gives you 216 meters. 144 centimeters. But 144 centimeters. 100 centimeters makes 1 meter. So you already passed that 100. So I can convert. So in other words, I know this is 100 plus 44 centimeters. That means this is 1 meter. I can add that 1 meter to that. That gives me what? 217 meters and 44 centimeters. See that? Does that make sense? Now very important, when you have a double digit like this, multiplying with this, line them up. Okay? Don't try to multiply like this. It can be very confusing. Okay? So you line this one up or do it this way. Okay? You rearrange it and then multiply, then you can put the 144 in there. Alright? Do that way, okay? So I know this way can be confusing. If you don't do it right, you'll get the answer wrong. When you have number like this, rearrange it 18 times 8. Because 18 times 8 same as 8 times 18. They both are same. See that? So I can flip-flop. They're same. But not with subtraction and division. Addition and multiplication you can flip-flop. Okay, you can A plus B equals to B plus A. A times B equals to B times A. But not with division or subtraction. You cannot do that. Alright, you cannot flip-flop. Alright, addition and multiplication, you can do that, okay? So keep in mind, addition and multiplication, I can set A plus B equals to B plus A, okay? A times B equals to B times A. I can do that, alright? It's okay. But not with division and subtraction, okay? Good. Alright, let Mr. Mac erase the board so we can do problem C. And I'll be back within a few seconds. Alright, the C for problem 3C, okay? So 3C, you're given 23 kilometers, okay? 23 kilometers and 402 meters, and you're multiplying that by 7. Okay, again, what do we do? Line them up, alright? Very important. So you can put 23 kilometers and 402 meters, and we're going to line it up 7, and we're going to multiply. 7 times 2 is 14. 4, carry 1. 7 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Okay, so 7 times 4 is 28. So we're going to put 8 and then 2. Alright, okay, good. Now 7, then that's going to be for meter. 7 times 3 is 21. 1 carry 2. 7 times 2 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. And that's kilometers. Okay, are we done? No. Why? Because look at this. 2,814 meters. You already passed that 1,000. So you know that 2,000, I can convert that into kilometers, alright? The 814, it's below the 1,000. I'm going to keep it. So 2,000 meter equals to 2 kilometers, okay? So 2 kilometers. So I can add that to that one. Plus 2, so that gives me 18 kilometers and 814 meters. That should be your final answer. Alright? So that's it right there. Okay, good. Alright. Let Mr. Mac erase the board so we'll have some rooms for problem number 4, the division. Okay, I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, problem number 4, solve. And this is a division problem, okay? So let's do 4a. So 4a, we're given 42 centimeters, okay? 42 centimeters, 6 millimeters divided by 6. Alright, so when you have something like this, what method are we going to use? The long division method, alright? So when I say the word long division, what should come to your mind? The cage approach, alright? That's help us to set up, okay? That's going to help us to set up the long division. So you put this is kind of like a cage. So this is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage, okay? So I'm going to put 42 centimeters and 6 millimeters, alright? And the 6 is kind of out. I'm going to put outside the cage. See that? So that just helps you, guides you to how to set up properly. Very important. Translating that into that, in setting them up. Alright? Okay, in 4, you go to the 242, that's how many 6? From our timetable, 7 times 6. Very good. 7 times 6 is 42. Minus, give me 0. So bring the centimeter up. Okay? I'm done. There's no balance. And then I can go to 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. Bring the millimeter up. 1 times 6 is 6 minus gives me 0. I'm done. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay, good. Now let's go to the second one. The B. So B, you're given 58 meters, 56 centimeters divided by 8. Again, we're going to use the long division method and we're going to set up in a form of cage approach. Okay, we're going to use the cage approach as a way to guide us to set it up. So this is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside. So 58 meters, 56 centimeters. Alright, and 8 is kind of out. I'm going to put outside. 58. What is the closest from the 8 timetable that can get to 58? What would that be? How about 7? 7 times 8 is 56. That's right. See that timetable? Very powerful. I hope by now you already know all your timetables, alright? You gotta have it in your fingertips, okay? I know you do. Okay, good. So 7 times 8 is 56, okay? So minus gives me 2. That's a balance, 2 meters balance, alright? Bring the meter up. Now you want to change this 2 meters into centimeters. So meters equals to how many centimeters, alright? 100 centimeters. So that means 2 meters becomes 200 centimeters. I'm going to add that to 56. So 200 plus with 56, that gives me 652. So that makes it 256 centimeters. Alright, I'm not going to use this, I'm going to use that one. In 2 there's how many? None. 25. 25 there's how many? 8. 3. Because we know that 3 times 8 is 24. Minus 5 minus 4 is 1. 2 minus 2 is 0. Bring the 6 down. In 16 there's how many 8? 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Minus gives me 0. Now you bring the centimeter up. See that? That's it. 7 meters and 32 centimeters. See that? The balance. You got to change this into centimeters. Combine them. And then you divide it. Alright? Okay, this one didn't have any balance. That's why straight away went to that one. This one had the balance. So you can't use that. If you add that, get to this. But make sure you convert that to 200 centimeters. And then you add that. Alright? Okay, good. Let's look problem C. Now C, you're given, okay, let's put it up here. C, you're given 13 kilometers, 108 meters divided by 4. Okay? Exactly, long division method. Okay, so we're going to use the cage approach, and we're going to use the cage approach to help us to set up the long division. All right, okay, good. So we're going to put the cage. So this one goes inside, so we're going to put 13 kilometers and 108 meters, and the 4 is kind of out. I'm going to put outside. Very good. See that? Isn't it helps that cage approach? All right, in 13 there's how many? 4. 3 again from our timetable, because 3 times 4 is 12, minus give me 1. Now bring the kilometers up, and then this is 1 kilometers. This is 1 cannot divide by 4, that's why we got the balance. We want to convert that into what? Meters. So that way I can add to that one. So 1 kilometer is equal to how many meters? 1000 meters. So when I add with that, so I take 1000, I add it with the 108. So always line it up. Okay, so 8 0 1 1. See that? So I'm going to put 1 1 0 8 meter right there. So now I'm going to divide this. No more that one. Okay. So 1 I cannot go to the next digit. In 11 there's how many? 4. Very good. 2. Okay, because 2 times 4 is 8. So 11 minus 8 is what? 3. Bring the 0 down. In 30 there's how many? 4. Very good. It's how many again? Very good. It's 7. Alright, good. 7 times 4 is 28. Alright, okay, so 30 minus 28, or 0 minus 8 I can't. I borrow from 3 becomes 2. 10 minus 8 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. Now I bring the 8 down. So in 28 there's how many? 4. 7 again. So 7 times 4 is 28, minus gives me 0. And then bring the meter up. Very important. So that gives me 3 kilometers and 277 meters. Okay, good. Wow! Pablo surely challenged you, doesn't he? Give you such an awesome problem. That's a lot of problems for you to work on, which you did a great job. I'm so proud of you, and Pablo is very proud of you too. Pablo is here to challenge you because you want the best. Just like Mr. Mac, I want the best because you are the best. And you only deserve the best. And that's why Mr. Mac have pledged only to bring the best for you. Okay? And that's what I did. Alright, so, and remember, it's coming from the best. Okay, good. Well, that's part of the length. We did just finish the length part. Now we're going to go to the, which part? The mass. Okay? So, Mr. Max will come back and then we'll do the mass. Give me a few seconds and I'll be back. Okay? Well, if you want, go ahead, pause the video and take a break, because it's such a long lesson on the length. Alright? Go ahead, take a break and take a nice juice, glass of juice or anything refreshing. No carbonated drinks, alright? No, they're bad for you, okay? Stay out of those carbonated drinks, alright? Because they're really bad for you. You are a smart student. You belong to Score A Math Victory student. You always eat healthy, drink healthy. Because why?